Hey everybody, Seth with Everyman Prepping here. How is everybody doing today? Hopefully you had a great Thanksgiving break, spent time with friends, family, did some prepping, all that great stuff because, well, we got 50 more days of probably crazy crap happening in the world. And why do I say 50 days? Well, those of you that know, 50 days from now is when Trump's, takes over January 20th, the inauguration. And as I've said in my previous videos, some of them I've said, they try to take that Trump out as much as they could, whether it be going to jail, whether it being deleted, whether it being at the election. They tried very hard, but he's in there, or he's going to be. So do you think he makes it still? Are they going to do everything they can to prevent him from taking over? Or are they going to make it so horrible in the world with war and financial crisis and whatnot that when he takes over, they're going to, people are going to call for his removal, or he's just going to have the worst presidency ever, or who knows what, but these next 50 days, maybe I'm a doom spreader, what do you want to say, but I think these next 50 days, you're going to see a lot more happening. I know there's a lot of kumbaya going on out there with Trump. He's going to fix everything. Everything's great now. Peace. Countries are talking. We want to work with him. I don't believe any of that stuff. But we shall see. 50 days, not that long. We shall see what happens. I know for one thing, the cabinet he's picking. The FBI director he just picked. Matt Gaetz is already out of there, but some of the other people, RFK Jr., all these people ruffle feathers. They're not in the mainstream Washington, D.C., which is what the people want, but it's not what, mainstream wants. It's not what Washington, D.C. wants. So, does Elon even make it, with the DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency? Is that going to survive it? They're ruffling a lot of feathers. He's putting people in place that no one wants in there, that's in the establishment. Things are going to happen. That's all I'm saying. So be ready for it. So we're going to get into some more news stories about that, but I just want to get that out of the way. Also, Syria, the day after that ceasefire with Hezbollah, I don't believe in coincidences, but day after, Aleppo falls in Syria. We got Syrian rebels, Turkish supported, ISIS supported, and, there's theories out there of who created ISIS and who supports them. Do some research. You'll figure out the very interesting stuff about them. But all of a sudden, they're conquering Syria. Syria, Iran uses as a way to funnel weapons into Hezbollah. So all of a sudden, Syria's back in civil war now. So I don't think there's a coincidence with that. Russia's tied up with that, helping Assad out over there. Takes his attention away from Ukraine, which means probably Zelensky's going to do some crazy long-range attacks inside of Russia very soon. I would expect this week. Why not? Try to get us all to World War III before Trump takes over. Why not? That's what I think they're thinking. On from that, we have the Biden pardon, of Hunter. Of course he was going to. I know he said he didn't. What Democrats, they lie. They always lie. I knew that it was going to happen. People are going to pardon their family, protect their own. It's a decades-long pardon. 10 years. Anything from 2014 to this year, no crime, no charges. Now, what most people don't realize is when you get a presidential pardon and you're called to Congress to testify, you can no longer invoke the Fifth Amendment because you have immunity. You have to testify. You have to, speak. And if you refuse to, if you don't tell the truth, well, those are new crimes that aren't covered under the pardon, and you can be charged with new crimes and go to jail. So Trump's probably going to call Biden. Have the Congress call Biden up there and start asking about everything from the Ukrainian deals to anything that was on the laptop to dealings with, Biden and under the table in China and all. Biden has to testify, tell the truth. He has immunity for anything that happened that decade. He can say anything he wants. So does Hunter make it the next 50 days? Some people are saying, there might be some people out there want to delete Hunter because of the fact that he can testify, he has to testify, can't invoke the Fifth, and he has total immunity. That's just the top three things I want to talk about. Let's get into some other stories. What it is, as usual, I got my X feed up here, which I think is a great news source if you know how to go through it and pick out the garbage. Very quicker than anything you'll get from mainstream or legacy media. So I just put out a few things really quick here. I'll make this short and sweet video for you, but let's go through a couple of things. As you do that, I'd love for you to hit that like button, share this video, comment below, all that great stuff that you guys always do. So what do we have here? We have, let's back up here. The U.S. government they're saying they're moving into, Bitcoin. Bitcoin during this Thanksgiving break, it almost hit 100,000, a few times. In fact, here, let's just check it out. I have it up here. 95.6. So, it's getting near 98,000. It's got a little drop here, but People are waiting for this thing to hit 100,000. Some people think that it's topped out. It's going to crash from here. But what I do know is that, according to this gentleman here, the U.S. has moved 1.29 billion into Bitcoin. Are they starting that Bitcoin reserve that Trump talked about? I don't know, but you can see this line item here if it's legit. 19.8 thousand Bitcoins were bought for $1.92 billion. Does this mean they're going to make it legit? Does this mean they're going to do like El Salvador and consider it, money where you're not going to be taxed on any gains in it? You can buy or sell it freely with no taxes. I know a lot of people would love that. And since a lot of banks are buying it and the government, they would love that as well. So keep your eye on that. Then we have tech domination. China is leading the U.S. in tech development. It says here China got the tech game lock on, leading in 57 out of 64 critical technologies. They're thinking about building a new train there that rides on magnetic levitation faster than airplanes. China's leaving us in the dust, and we're going to pay for that soon. We just rested on our laurels here. When was this here? This was earlier. A data broker blunder. More than 600,000 sensitive files are exposed to a leak. If you're putting anything on the internet, this is just a public service announcement. Consider it's going to be leaked. Change your passwords. Have different passwords for every website. Don't just use one. I know it's a pain in the butt. You got to keep a list and all that, but your data is basically being harvested all the time. And let's see. Let's go on here to the Middle East now. I put this out earlier. Netanyahu's all pissed off because he says Hezbollah, fired a few rockets this morning at one of their military sites and broke the ceasefire. Well, just a day or so ago, they were firing rockets into, Lebanon, aiming after some vehicles of Hezbollah. They broke it first, I believe. I told you earlier, like I said here, it wasn't going to last a week. It hasn't. Are they in full-blown war and conflict now? No, but I'll look for that to happen soon. They just can't, control themselves. Plus, Hezbollah might start to attack to pull pressure out of Syria. Occupy Israel with this again. So that'll flare up again, I believe. And then we have the Houthis attacking U.S. warships. As this article says, the U.S. warships successfully combated a missile attack on their, then they were protecting submerged vessels. But what this says to me is that no one respects the U.S. military, the U.S. Navy. You got Yemen out there firing missiles at military ships. And what's the U.S. do? A few little bombing runs. They spend millions of dollars on missiles to blow up a few guys, sending a drone. Yemen doesn't care. They're not afraid. They're going to keep doing it. There's no respect. And, this is going to continue on and probably go on. There's just, this is to point out the state of the U.S. military and the government in the eyes of the people aren't afraid. Other countries are not afraid anymore. And when they're not afraid of the big dog, usually the big dog gets put down. So what else do we have here? Oh, yeah. We got thousands of people pouring into Syria. This is from Iraq here, trying to help out the Syrian army, Assad. And like this gentleman here, let me pause this here. Let's go back. Brand new equipment. That's a brand new kit he's got on, magazines, uniform. You'll notice this about the ISIS fighters and the other ones. Everybody has brand new kits, brand new gear, brand new vehicles. So that means they're being funded. They're not being funded themselves. This is just a ragtag group of militia, right? You'd think they'd have reused stuff, mismatched. They wouldn't all coordinate. So what do we have? This is just another proxy war. It's state-sponsored. I'll let you guess who's supporting what side, but if you look into the ISIS and who created it, maybe not, you're going to find some interesting things out. And lastly on this one, we have China's giving their full support to Syria in their fight against the incursion. We know Russia's already in full support. Now China is. We're just dividing East and West. Syria, China, Russia, Iraq, Iran, all taking one side. We got Yemen down there. They're going to start pulling in more and more. North Korea, of course, vowing support. Already getting a mutual, assistance contract, with Russia to support each other. So China taking another side, they got to build up all this because when they go after Taiwan, they're going to need allies to continue buying Chinese gear since the U.S. is going to be out. All right, where do we go from here? We got so much that happens every day. Okay, so for everybody complaining about Hunter's pardon and everything, under that cover today in the reaction, we have the United States sending 725. I put billion. It's going to be million. This was a typo. I should correct this, of course. I just saw that right now, in fact. But $725 million worth of aid to Ukraine, not billion. I'll be changing that one. So, under the cover of the pardon, Zelensky's going to get a bunch more gear, a bunch more stuff. Their big thing as well, there's anti-personnel mines, which are, out of the against the rules of war and all that. No rules apply anymore. I mean, they're flying drones into the faces of soldiers these days. You think there's rules of war? If you think they're going to adhere to a gentleman's code, you better be ready for something else. So they're going to empty everything out of the United States and send it to Ukraine before Trump gets there, in case Trump cuts it all off. They're going to deplete the U.S. They don't care about if that hurts our defense here or, the help in Taiwan if we wanted to go there or our own national interests. Not a care at all. They're just going to pump this guy full of as much stuff as they can. As you can see from this, X post down here. Sullivan touts massive surge in arms to Ukraine with 50 days left in Biden's term. Yeah, no kidding. And then you have this doozy here. Russia prepares to restart nuclear testing. Russia testing ground in the Novaya Zalima archipelago, it's way up by the Arctic, is prepared for resumption of the nuclear test. If they do this, does NATO do a nuclear test? Where does it go from here? If they do an above ground test, and many generations haven't seen a mushroom cloud in the sky, there'll be some panic. So, I think this will wait until Zelensky, probably with the new weapons, fires more deep rockets into Russia. It depends what they hit. Then you might see one of these go off. And there's just another picture of it there. And I believe that's all I have here for you on these three things, on those three aspects of what's going on. Like I said, news goes so fast, things change on the hour. So if you follow me on X at Everyman Prepper, I post a lot on there, the very most pertinent stuff every day, the most recent news stories, so you can follow me on there. Love to hear your comments below. Let me know, how'd your Thanksgiving go? What'd you do? Did you come across any great Black Friday deals or Cyber Monday deals today for prepping? Share it out. And also, what are you most worried about in the next 50 days? Are you worried at all? Are you thinking it's just going to go over, we're going to be good? Or are you really concerned that, we have 50 days of chaos left? So let me know. Hopefully you got something out of this. Glad to hear from all of you. And until next time, keep your ear to the ground and head on a swivel.